I think had he chosen Mitt Romney instead of Sarah Palin, who went down in disapproval, her disapproval ratings got stronger and stronger as the race went on, I think we may have seen a different picture. But I think the American public lost complete confidence that McCain would have the competence to be able to pull the economy together.
All right, well, we're going to have to leave it there. I love how your dog's listening to you as you talk. How cute. Pam Stone.
She's a terrier.
Host of the Pam Stone Show. Thanks for joining us this morning. I was still a nail biter, as we said, in your state. Bye.
Yeah, fist bump.
With the world watching.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Victory and history.
The next First Family of the United States of America.
The magnitude of the moment. As a new day dawns and a new era begins. Reaction from across the country and around the world on this dramatic, historic, and moving American morning. And we continue to roll on with the most news in the morning. Our special coverage of the results of election 2008, and people across the United States and around the world are waking up to this nation's first black president-elect. Barack Obama's message of hope and change fueling a decisive win. And all across America, Obama supporters are celebrating the landmark victory. In New York's Times Square, thousands of people watched the election results on giant television sets. In the nation's capital, outside the White House, at least 1,000 people gathered to celebrate. Spontaneous outpouring of celebration. And in Obama's hometown of Chicago, more than 200,000 people packed into Grant Park, an organized event, and the surrounding area to hear the president-elect speak.
I will never forget who this victory truly belongs to. It belongs to you. It belongs to you. I was never the likeliest candidate for this office. We didn't start with much money or many endorsements. Our campaign was not hatched in the halls of Washington. It began in the backyards of Des Moines, in the living rooms of Concord, and the front porches of Charleston. It was built by working men and women who dug into what little savings they had to give $5 and $10 and $20 to the cause. It grew strength from the young people who rejected the myth of their generation's apathy, who left their homes and their families for jobs that offered little pay and less sleep. It drew strength from the not-so-young people who braved the bitter cold and scorching heat to knock on doors of perfect strangers, and from the millions of Americans who volunteered and organized and proved that more than 2 centuries later, a government of the people, by the people, and for the people has not perished from the earth. This is your victory.
Well, CNN's Suzanne Malveaux is in Chicago for us this morning, and she joins us now. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of hurt feelings among Republicans this morning, but there's no question what happened last night was a real game changer for this nation.
Absolutely, John. And what was really striking about Barack Obama's speech last night is that it was really quite sobering. There were calls for change and for hope. Yes, we can. Those kinds of things that we've been hearing for months. But it was really tempered by the realization here that there are 2 wars. There's a financial crisis. And there's no question that the voters, the supporters, have the highest of expectations of Barack Obama. He promised a lot going into this election. People expect a lot from him. So what they're trying to do today is really project a sense of seriousness in the mission. Barack Obama essentially setting the tone last night that he is going to govern and that he is going to take this very seriously and that he understands this level of expectations from these voters and supporters. Take a listen.
Even as we stand here tonight, we know there are brave Americans waking up in the deserts of Iraq and the mountains of Afghanistan to risk their lives for us. There are mothers and fathers who will lie awake after their children fall asleep and wonder how they'll make the mortgage, or pay their doctor's bills, or save enough for their child's college education. There's new energy to harness, new jobs to be created, new schools to build, and threats to meet, alliances to repair. The road ahead will be long. Our climb will be steep. We may not get there in 1 year or even in one term, but America, I have never been more hopeful than I am tonight that we will get there. I promise you, we as a people will get there.
John, we have heard big promises from this candidate now, the president-elect. There are 2.5 months before he officially takes office. Thanks to President Bush's executive order, there are already some of his aides who will have security clearance as of today. Also, Barack Obama being able to get some of those intelligence briefings, the same level of detail as President Bush. Now, I'm told by aides that he's going to be sitting down today with his top advisors. They are going to announce his transition team, and in the days to come, we expect some personnel announcements. Obviously, they feel in the weeks to come, this is really going to be a critical time to set the tone of this administration, that they want to be taken seriously, and that all those things that he promised those past months, that he does plan on at least trying to deliver. John? And
President Bush has issued an open invitation for the president-elect to come and visit the White House, so we'll see him checking out his new digs pretty soon, I'm sure. Suzanne Malveaux this morning. Suzanne, thanks so much.
Measuring the drapes.
You'll finally get that opportunity. Karen?
Well, more now on the celebration in Chicago's Grant Park that drew more than 200,000 people out there. This massive crowd chanting, "Yes, we did," as they welcomed the future first family on stage. And CNN's Alina Cho was right in the middle of it all. She joins us from Chicago now. Hi, Alina.
Hey there. As you mentioned, Kieran, good morning to you. Nearly 250,000 people in the crowd. Lots of regular supporters, lots of dignitaries, politicians, and celebrities, too. Chief among them, I have to tell you, Oprah Winfrey. I think it's safe to say that Oprah's seal of approval doesn't apply to just books anymore. Remember, Oprah was one of Barack Obama's original supporters. When she endorsed him, America really sat up and took note. I had a chance to go one-on-one with Oprah, and I asked her what she thought of President-elect Obama. How does it feel tonight?
It feels like hope won. It feels like it's not just a victory for, obviously, Barack Obama. It feels like America did the right thing. It feels like there's a shift in consciousness. It feels like something really big and bold has happened here. Like nothing ever in our lifetimes did we expect this to happen. Something big just happened. It feels like anything is now possible. And I think
I'm a woman of color. You're a woman of color.
We're women of color.
How does it feel? I mean, this is a...
Well, you know, I think that the beautiful thing about Barack Obama is, throughout this whole process, one of my favorite endorsements came from Colin Powell. When Colin Powell said he understands, Barack Obama understands that all villages matter. I mean, it brought tears to my eyes because I thought, yes, that is it. So it doesn't matter.
Did that seal the deal for you?
Well, I was already sealed. I was the deal. I was in the envelope already. But this whole process for me has been something that I knew that this was the moment for me to stand up, regardless of, whatever kind of, heat I had to take or what people's responses would be. I knew this was the moment.
It's been a long 22 months, so what now?
The best is yet to come. I mean, listen, first of all, geez, if I, have a chance to talk to him, interview him, I think
you'll have a shot.
I think I might, but I wonder, does he wake up in the morning and go, what have I gotten myself into? Because this country is in bad shape right now. But I think what he is going to do more than anybody else could is help us all to understand that it's not one person. It's not one person who's going to unify.
One more question. You've got this little thing called the Oprah Show, but would you consider an ambassadorship?
Would I consider an ambassadorship? Not as I have the Oprah Show. Listen, I can honestly say this. I did this. I had no agenda. Other.
Well, she didn't say no. Now, remember, Oprah may be Obama's most famous supporter, but here in Chicago, remember, Obama is also a native son. So that enthusiasm that you saw from Oprah, multiply that by about 1 million times, Karen, and that's the kind of support for President-elect Obama that you see here in the Windy City. And I mentioned 1 million. You mentioned earlier that some people believe that Oprah's support may have won Obama 1 million votes. We're going to explore that a little bit further, and we'll have that report for you tomorrow morning.
Yeah, the Oprah effect. Very fascinating. Great job getting a chance to talk to her as well, Alina. Thanks.
She's going to take an ambassadorship. She's got to hang out for France because that is the plum assignment. Hey, we want your feedback to be a part of our special coverage this morning. Our quick vote question this hour: is this the most important election that you have voted on? Call in to our toll-free number. That's 866-977-VOTE, 866-977-8683. Or you can text your answer to 94553. That's 94553. A sea change in American politics. What powered Barack Obama to his sweeping and historic victory as president, and what types of challenges will he have to tackle on day one? Our political panel weighs in, coming right up.
Nice flight, Captain.
When this 250-ton aircraft touches down at 155 miles per hour, I know what I can rely on. These tires. For a smooth and safe landing.
Bridgestone tires in aviation.
Bridgestone.
What's going to happen to the gas guzzlers, the monsters of the road? All the utility in the world isn't worth much if we can't afford to drive them. So, why not have utility and efficiency? The Hyundai Santa Fe, with all the features you want in a CUV, plus 24 miles per gallon.
Get 0% financing for up to 36 months and up to $3,000 bonus cash on a 2008 Hyundai Santa Fe.
If you have been exposed to asbestos and diagnosed with mesothelioma, you have rights. Mesothelioma is a rare form of lung cancer usually caused by exposure to asbestos. Approximately 3,000 new cases of mesothelioma are diagnosed in the U.S. each year. If you or a loved one has been diagnosed with mesothelioma, asbestosis, or lung cancer, call 1-866-950-9000 to discuss your rights. Call 1-866-950-9000 now.
Last year, Norfolk Southern and its shipping partners took hundreds of thousands of freight loads off the highway. In fact, they've invested millions to convert even more traffic in the coming years. So it's easy to see how the economy won't be the only thing that benefits. Norfolk Southern, the future of transportation.
Millions of people suffering from joint discomfort mask their pain using products with potential serious side effects.
My doctor recommended Cosamin ASU, which does more than just mask my pain.
Laboratory research shows that the ingredients in Cosamin ASU not only reduce inflammation, but also promote healthy joints. Side effects may include increased activity, better comfort, and improved quality of life.